Hey, welcome everyone to Thursday, talking comic books and all kinds of other stuff. We got a little wider screen today. You can see my drawing behind me. So how's everyone doing today? Let's see. We're going to get into... So it looks like DC is, or AT&T is looking to sell Crunchyroll. I think it's called Crunchyroll for $1.5 billion. A new report details that AT&T is looking to sell Crunchyroll to Sony as much as $1.5 billion. The report comes through information who cites three people who are familiar with the situation. The information is the same outlet has previously announced that AT&T and Warner Media having discussions about selling Crunchyroll back in May. Probably didn't say that name right, but it looks like Crunchyroll. Their May report detailed AT&T Warner Media has discussions about selling Crunchyroll. One of the buyers, the report details that they had discussed was with Sony. At the time, they speculated the reasons for selling the company were to reduce debt. The company had faced pressure to reduce debt from shareholders, Elliott Management, but they have reported cut a deal with them back in October. However, that report from May also indicated that plans to sell off Crunchyroll might have changed with Warner Media and new CEO Jason Kilar taking over as well as a result of the ongoing pandemic. The news report also details that Sony is a prime target to purchase Crunchyroll, and again claims the reason behind the sale is to reduce debt. The information reports Warner Media willingness to sell Crunchyroll, which has contributed content to the company's new streaming service, HBO Max, and has been featured in its marketing. It also shows AT&T willingness to sell valuable assets to bring down $151 billion debt load. They added AT&T has been looking to sell non-core assets to reduce debt. Among other businesses on the block are Warner's gaming unit. YouTube's Confish TV host Keen would also state that that's the thing. I wasn't the original plan to sell Crunchyroll. As I understand it, as of last year, the talk of last year was the roll of Crunchyroll into HBO Max. He continued, and now AT&T is in such a place now that Warner Media is such a place it might actually benefit from them just to sell it off if they can sell it off instead of keeping it. The report comes out as Crunchyroll announced a brand new exclusive Kichijushi Kisen, and that will arrive on the streaming platform in October. It also comes at the wake of AT&T gutting DC Comics and DC Universe. It also comes out after AT&T senior executive vice president and CFO John Stevens boasting about their software-based entertainment like HBO Max and AT&T TV. As the information notes, Crunchyroll is contributing to content to HBO Max. Stevens also noted that the company has been working to address its upcoming debt matures. A press release from AT&T claims, in addition, Stevens says that AT&T continues to take advantage of low borrowing costs and rates to address upcoming debt maturities. As a result, the company has reduced the amount of a debt maturing within the next 4 years by about $23 billion, an improvement about $8 billion since the end of the second quarter. The same press release also indicated that AT&T plans to evolve to have a focus on consumer demand following the success launch of HBO Max. Stevens noted that the recent reorganization of Warner Media will accelerate the business transition to meet evolving consumer needs. At the time, Warner Media plans to continue to invest content, expand its reach and scale, and effectively operate its legacy business. So what do you make of this report? Do you think AT&T is considering selling Crunchyroll? What do you make their alleged price tag? Yeah, so I don't know, that's quite a bit of money for them. So, yeah. Probably soon they'll be selling off parts of DC Comics. And there's a report here. Former G.I. Joe writer Aubrey Sitterson calls for union of comic book creators after massive DC Comics layoff. Former G.I. Joe writer Aubrey Sitterson recently called for unionization of comic book creators following reports about massive layoff at DC Comics and DC Universe. In his call for union, he also criticized current corporate culture that he claims benefits exclusives over work of labors. Sitterson took to Twitter, where he began stating, "I've seen a lot of passive talk implying the DC layoffs were some unavoidable act of God, but that's not true. A group of executives decided that after profiting off people's labors for years, they profit somewhat more by kicking them to the curb during a global pandemic." He continued, Don't let your love for DC creators of books or dreams of working on Batman obscure the fact that layoffs were decisions made by people so rich that they'll never have to worry about rent or health insurance to protect their profits. Then he issued a call for a comics union. He wrote, "Love of the medium, the work, the people, the characters is weaponized against comic book professionals at every level of this explosive industry, all to fit the pockets of a board member at the world's biggest media company. We need a comics union more than ever." He not only did he call for a comics union, but he also called for a comics guild, stating that comic book freelancers do not have job security or have no ownership of the stories they write, and they do not receive benefits. Sitterson explained, "We need a comics union and a comics guild. Freelancers are subject to even worse than this, with no benefits, no job security of any kind, and more than often not, no ownership over or even participating in anything they create." Sitterson called for unionization and the creation of a guide to meet with a number of mixed reactions. One user responded, "I'm on the right. I think unions are a natural part of the free market. A billionaire exerts a lot of influence. A million workers should be able to pool resources and exert as much influence as. I wish you luck and hope this union will be loyal to workers regardless of political views." Many responded to Sitterson's noting that it was too late to unionize, given the current state of the comic book industry that continues to post declining sales numbers year after year. Singer Riemann responded, "It's going to be kind of tough to set up a union in an industry in the midst of a slaughter when there's fewer jobs to fight over in the first place by people who have little value or clout. Even if you're pro-union, it's too late. It would be as well to unionize Blockbuster. Yeah, I agree with this guy completely. Why would you do it after you get all these layoffs? Anyway, Lord Tasman added, nice settlement about two decades too late. Unionize comic labor is not a position of strength in which to leverage any power. They were in the mid to late 90s, but not now. Not under a larger conglomerate willing to cut them off. Godot also responded, we don't have any leverage to push for any higher wages, more benefits when the comic industry is hurting as bad as it is. The money isn't there. Management is better off liquidizing assets and shutting down the living than giving you a raise. Fairfax would state the time to do this was that was around the time Image Comics was founded in the early 90s. Comics industry isn't the shape to do that. Reginald P. Smithington Bear also stated, in order to unionize successfully, comics professionals would need to convincingly demonstrate that their services were indispensable ones. At the barest minimum, capable of generating large profits. Current DC Marvel sales figures do not support either one of these. Clownfish TV's Nell Kean summarized the state of the comic book industry in a recent video comparing the U.S. comic book industry to Japan's mega market. He stated, you come over here and it's depressing as hell. The shops are closed. Diamond is a monopoly. You have overpriced pamphlets. You've got creators out there on social media running at the damn mouth, constantly getting into fights. You've got whisper networks of people trying to keep other people out of the comic book industry entirely because they don't like them, because it's all about politics now. He continued, it's not about making products. They're not even into the business in business anymore. It's just about keeping certain people they don't like out of the lunch table effectively. He later adds, we've got all the dirt coming up now of people working comics that are doing naughty things supposedly. We're canceling people every day. You don't hear this kind of drama in Japan. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it doesn't seem in Japan they are focused on telling good stories and making comics literally for everyone. Keane then states, we have a lot of political-minded people coming into comics and using the comic book characters as mouthpiece for their own politics, their own depressing politics. Most American comic books now are depressing as hell. What do you make of Sitterson's call for a unionization and the creation of a guild? Do you agree with him? I'm like, you got all these people like they're bringing in the new Warriors. They're changing all these characters. Let's make stories like they used to do. When I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, comic books were great. Even the 90s, you had Dark Knight, Batman Returns, the Dark Knight series by Frank Miller. They were great stories. You got Ronin. You had Watchmen. We had a lot of great stuff back then, and they're just putting out the last quite a few years. They've been putting out nothing but garbage. I don't want to watch. I don't want to read garbage. It's that's why the comic book industry is failing. Put good stuff out. That's all we need is better stuff. I'm seeing a lot of people that that's broken away, and then they're doing some great stuff on Indiegogo and stuff like that. It just gotta stop making crap comic books. Go and make some good stuff that people are going to read. Don't go putting these politics in, changing the characters from male to female, and making them black or Asian. Make original characters, not changing the norm characters into something different. That's what comic books. Make it fun, make it fantasy. Take us out of this world. That's what I loved about comic books when I was growing up. It was a way of escaping. I didn't have a lot of problems growing up, but they were great to get away from school. You can imagine somebody could fly, somebody could stick on a wall, somebody had super strength. It's not that hard to come up with these stories. Make them fun. You could always there's always going to be a lesson in it, or something like that. But let's make comic books fun again, and get off the pot. It just pisses me off to see this going like this. I look at I bought a bunch of comic books today. I think I got the Flash, I got Superman, I got Shazam, I got Green Lantern. I'm dropping Green Lantern from my pull list because it doesn't make any sense. The book is stupid. I might be dropping Superman. Bendis is not doing a good job on that book. And the Flash, every time I look at the Flash, there's all kinds of different artists in the book. There's nothing constant. And we need that constant in that book. So yeah, comic book industry is too late to go union. Don't go union. You should have done that several years ago when the industry was doing really well. There was one company out there, I heard, CrossGen, that they had. I don't know. I think I don't know if he went too big or what. He had some really grand ideas for stories and stuff like that. He'd give people medical care, give them good wages, a good place to work, and even benefit, like old age benefit stuff, because when you can't draw, you're not making any money. Or if you can't write, something happens, you lose your house, you can't write. So that was a good company, I heard, but it didn't last. But what they need to do is when the industry was strong, then do the union, I do like Japan is doing. Japan is just killing it with a manga, So yeah, I'm going to call the. I'm having some problems with my throat, so I'm going to call the live stream an end. It's just a short one, about 20 minutes. So I'm glad everybody came in to see. So I'm going to head off. So everybody have a good day. I'll be back in tomorrow, hopefully with a longer one. Okay, everyone, take care. You have a good day.